gorgeous! Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. I hope you're all doing well. So today we're back building for my save file. Last week was a little bit of a different video. I kind of wanted to celebrate the release of the new Growing Together expansion pack. So I did like a 100 baby challenge house build, but yeah, I wanted to go back to building my save file because I do want to get this thing finished and it's taking me so long. So yeah, just as a little heads up guys, I built this a lot before the Growing Together expansion pack came out, so I do not use any stuff from that pack in here unfortunately, but I will be able to use the new stuff in my builds going forward for my save file, and also maybe once I'm going to go through the world and set up all the storylines, like actually setting up my save file with all the townies and stuff, I might still go in and change especially this lot quite a bit, because this is actually a library lot. And I feel like we got a lot of useful things, especially for community lots in the new pack, such as like the sort of the kitty stuff, like the kitty chairs and tables. Obviously I feel like we have that commercial or community lot looking diaper changing table, which would have been really nice to use in a lot like this. So I might go back and add those things in when I'm going to set up this save file, but at the moment it does not have any, which is a bit of a shame, but okay, next week we will have the new stuff in my builds and I think it will be fine. So I kind of made this structure based off the French Quarter in New Orleans. Like, I feel like a broken record saying New Orleans on this channel because obviously I've built Willow Creek and Newcrest, which in real life I feel like they kind of base the architectural styles on the styles in New Orleans. So yeah, it just felt natural to kind of go with that style and make a very cohesive looking save file. So you guys probably get sick of me talking about New Orleans and building New Orleans style stuff. And yeah, I have a little bit of a confession. It's probably going to get only worse because, as you guys might know, I am from the Netherlands. I have never been to the United States, let alone I've never been to New Orleans. But my boyfriend and I, we booked a trip there this summer and I'm so excited. So yeah, then I finally get to judge whether or not, you know, my save file actually sort of looks like New Orleans or if it's nothing like it. I'm very excited. So the cities that my boyfriend and I will be visiting will be New York, Washington DC, New Orleans, and San Francisco, which I know sounds a bit mental because we're going from the east to the south to the west. But if you guys have any plans, or not plans, like tips or tricks or recommendations for any of those cities, I would love to hear them. So yeah, and also like I'm just going to talk a little bit about my private life right now, guys, because we're just doing a random library build. I don't have a lot to say about it. So usually when I watch speed builds, I kind of listen to them more rather than like really watch it. I might tune in every once in a while to see what's going on, but I just kind of like having a speed build on the background, kind of listening to it as a sort of a podcast. So if you guys enjoy that too, let me know. Or if you would prefer if I just stick to talking about the build, I can do that as well, but I just feel like it's going to be a lot more boring. But yeah, also in 2 weeks, I will be flying to London. I'm going to talk about a subject that is not popular at all amongst the Sims community, which is Star Wars. But my boyfriend and I were actually going to visit the Star Wars celebration convention thing, and I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, we were only able to get tickets for the Monday, which is like the least exciting day, I believe, in terms of like actors that are going to visit and stuff, because I've heard that Pedro Pascal, he will be he will be there on Saturday, I believe, so we will probably miss him, which is a bit sad, but I'm sure we will survive. I believe on the Monday we will get to see the actress that played little Leia in the Kenobi series. And and the one that played Moff Gideon in the Mandalorian series. I think he will also be on Monday. I'm not sure. I need to check with my boyfriend. Like, basically, I'm going for him. I like Star Wars, but he's like a mega fan, okay? So I'm just coming along for him, but I'm very excited myself as well. So it's okay. So yeah, but we're going to London. We're going to make it basically a whole Easter weekend thing, and we have quite a few other days that we still need to fill. So do let me know if you guys have any suggestions in London. I have been in London a couple of times before, but usually for a very short time. Basically, the first time I went to London, I went there for a school thing, like a school camp thing when I was in high school. And the second time, that was actually quite mental. I with my two best friends, we booked a bus, a night bus from the Netherlands to London. So we traveled the evening before, and then the morning we arrived in London, and literally that same evening we had to travel back. And for some reason I thought the bus would take the Eurotunnel, because when we went to London when I was in high school, basically, they did take the Eurotunnel, but this time they took the boat. They took the ferry, and I am so seasick. It was an absolute nightmare. So I really don't want to do that again. And this time we're just flying, which is a huge relief for me, because I'm not very good in buses and cars and boats. I get really sick. Actually, I get sick on airplanes too. But it's a very short flight from the Netherlands to the UK. We'll be fine. Although it's going to be different in the USA. When we're going to the USA, I'm actually quite scared about that. So yeah, just quickly, guys, about this build. As you can see, I've moved on to the interior. The floor plan is coming together quite quickly. Just as an FYI, I believe the top 2 floors even, I kind of blacked them out, so to speak, because I feel like when you're making a community lot and you have apologies, you have too much space where your Sims can go, the community lots feel very empty. So I prefer to keep them somewhat on the smaller side, so it feels like there's actually Sims there that you can meet, and maybe it's just nice. It's just nicer if you have a little bit, if community lots are a bit more compact. That's also one of the reasons that I don't particularly enjoy making or having basically multifunctional lots in my build. You know how some people, they like to build community lots that sort of consist of multiple little buildings, and you have, like, on the one lot you have a restaurant, and maybe you have a gym as well, and like a bar or something, and a library, whatever. And I feel like, I mean, as cool as the lots look, right, it's very impressive to see those builds. I do really enjoy watching those kind of speed builds, because it's like people come up with amazing stuff, really. I just feel like in terms of gameplay, it doesn't really work that well. I mean, your Sims you either have to lock doors, which I'm not sure if you can actually do that on community lots. I don't think so. But you either have to lock doors or delete doors or block doors in any way. Or you're gonna have to, like, pick a lot type that sort of makes sense for it to be multifunctional. So let's say you have a restaurant, but one area of the restaurant is more like a bar, and the other area of the restaurant is like an actual restaurant. Or what I did before, this was already a year ago, I built a spa, which was basically like 3 separate buildings, and one building was a gym, one building was, I believe, a nail studio, and then also like a massage salon. And I set it as a spa, so, all the different shops or businesses basically function simultaneously. But then again, because it's a spa, your Sims first go into a locker room and then change into their robes, and then go back outside on the street. and then go to like to the nail salon or something. So that looks a bit funny, but yeah, so that's why I'm usually not a huge fan of building multifunctional community lots, or you're gonna have to keep on changing the settings. Like this time you want to use it as a restaurant, so you're gonna have to change the setting to it being a restaurant, or to it being a retail store, or whatever you have. And I just feel like for gameplay, it's not very smooth, it's not very seamless. Oh, I got a message just then, apologies. Yeah, I don't really like to do that, especially because in my save file I want to focus on gameplay, and I want my lots to be very functional for gameplay, not too overwhelming. Like also, I'm not a huge fan of overly cluttered houses. Like I hate clutter in real life. Oh, I'm going to silence my phone just real quick, apologies. There we go. I hate clutter in real life, and like I don't really like it in my Sims builds too much. I feel like it's very overwhelming, and it can slow down your game as well. And I want my save file to be able to run on also somewhat lower end PCs. That's very important to me. So yeah, just so you guys know. Yeah, my goodness, we're almost finished with this build already. Like we're just doing the upstairs now. I made sure that there's plenty of computers here because I hate it when you actually need to use when you're playing Rex to Riches or something and you need to use a computer in the library and all of them are occupied. So I made sure to have a lot of computers that your Sims can use. And here I just made some seating. I was actually fiddling around quite a bit with what to put there. In the end, I'm not sure if I'm really happy with how the upstairs came together. But I do like the sort of overall general atmosphere. You know, it's like very brown and cozy, and I wanted this build to look like it would have been here for a very long time, for maybe hundreds of years. Like obviously New Orleans is a very old city as well, so I want my builds to kind of represent that aesthetic as well. So yeah, we're just going through the build. I guess we're just going to put in a couple of the finishing touches. We're going to put in some plants and I believe a bunch of like books and magazines around the place, but then I guess we should be about finished. So yeah, I think for me, I'm just going to leave this voiceover right here. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by leaving a like or a comment, or feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date of any of my future videos. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!